Hey, how's it going, guys? Back again on the final whistle, and today the Premier League season is finished. It is over and it is done with. The 2020-2021 Premier League season is finished, and today I just want to quickly talk about Leicester City and West Ham wrapping up the top six and taking home the Europa League spot. No West Ham fan would have come into this season predicting that they'd move on into the Europa League. It was looking quite obvious that they were going to get Champions League earlier in the season. For myself, I was hoping that they would stay in the Europa League because they would have gotten battered in the Champions League, in my opinion. I even have a West Ham fan at football when I go to play practices, and he didn't want to go into Champions League. He said it would have been an absolute embarrassment. They would have got hammered. Yes, it would have been a huge achievement, I feel, for West Ham, but I think Europa League is the place to be to go on a European tour. Spencer FC, I love watching his content. He's even come out with an Instagram post saying who's ready for European tour. And West Ham are going on a European tour, taking home 6th place with 65 points. West Ham barely staved off relegation last year with David Moyes coming in and saving them. And he has turned in a miracle, bringing them all the way to Europa League places, taking home 6th place. And the signings have been also unbelievable from this West Ham side. Thomas Souček, Sofian Koufal, and Jesse Lingard. The two Czech boys have come out of nowhere. Nobody expected those to happen. Koufal's been unbelievable as a right back, attacking wise, balls into the box. Defensively, he's been astute. The man just doesn't give up. His work rate is unbelievable. Both of those Czech boys are fantastic to watch. If you want to learn about work rate and passion and love the game, go watch those two because they just don't stop playing until that final whistle blows. And Thomas Souček, a defensive midfielder, a guy who's willing to put his head on anything, a guy who reminds me of Nemanja Vidic from Manchester United years ago, but plays defensive midfielder. He'll put his head on anything. He'll score goals from defensive midfield. He scored many goals this year, and he's been fantastic to watch. And those two signings have been unbelievable. And then in January, West Ham had brought in Jesse Lingard from Manchester United on loan until the end of the season. And that couldn't have been a better signing for them. They brought him in. Ex-David Moyes player in Manchester United. David Moyes knew him well. Jesse Lingard was struggling with confidence, struggling with game time at Manchester United. He comes in, and David Moyes has completely revolutionized Jesse Lingard, and Jesse Lingard has completely changed his career and his career path with this half a season at West Ham. I can't remember the exact goals he scored, but it's been unbelievable. I want to say 9, and he's had like unbelievable amounts of contributions too. And the play he's been in, the 1-2s, him, Declan Rice, Fornals, Michail Antonio, the team has been fantastic this year, and it's been unbelievable. Yes, they've kind of dipped off towards the end of the year, but a team with no depth, COVID year, you're playing games week in, week out, you're tired, and it's just a long season. And that just goes to show how well David Moyes has managed this team to bring this team that doesn't have a lot of depth like your Manchester Cities, your Leicester, Tottenham, Arsenal, Uniteds, and to bring them into Europa League spot is unbelievable. You're beating out the likes of Everton and Arsenal and Tottenham for that Europa League spot is insane. They would have been happy with Europa League Conference, a new tournament, and they get your actual Europa League. Unbelievable for them. Kudos to David Moyes. He's done a fantastic job this year. I personally am shell-shocked. I can't believe he's done it. Like, Declan Rice is probably going to move on this year. He's probably going to leave it to Manchester United or Chelsea. It's going to be whichever team can persuade him or bid enough to get him. Because I feel like if Chelsea want him, he's going to go. Obviously, Declan Rice is a huge Chelsea supporter. Him and Mason Mount are best friends. But I think if he's going to move, he should go to Manchester United. Better suit for him. Play in the midfield with Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. Probably one of the best midfields in the world if he can make it happen. Or if he wants to go to Manchester United and the Glazers can make it happen. But I don't feel like we'll see Declan Rice there next year. I think he's going to be persuaded away. And if he does stay, I think he deserves it. He could finish off on a strong next year with West Ham in the Europa League. Maybe carry them quite far. Quarterfinals would be fantastic for them. Semifinals. And it'd be fun to see him in the West Ham kit next year. Or even a Manchester United or Chelsea kit. And just to round it up about West Ham here before I move on to the other team to wrap up my Europa League talk here. Declan Rice was injured for the last couple games this season, and they still were able to play it out, rode out all those games. They brought in Manuel Lanzini, who was injury hit throughout his entire career. He even got injured when he was playing. He had to drop back and play like a box-to-box roving midfielder role beside Thomas Souček, and Mark Noble played there too. Obviously, it's not what you want going into the last couple games of the season, losing your best player in Declan Rice. But the fact that they were able to keep going strong, keep picking up wins was phenomenal. One part I'll remember in this season is that 3-2 Arsenal loss, and then after that they kept winning games 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. And it was just like, they're going to play in the most exciting, entertaining games all year, and it was unbelievable to see. Once Michail Antonio got injured, I didn't think they were going to keep going, but they somehow managed to keep winning, and it was because of Jesse Lingard and that whole team. This just goes to show you that a good manager and a good spirit and team energy and team chemistry can bring you a long way. And this is just like that Leicester team. Obviously, they didn't win it, but this is huge for a West Ham team that staved off relegation. Kudos to David Moyes, kudos to Jesse Lingard, kudos to Declan Rice, and the whole West Ham team. It is well deserved. Moving on to the other team that wraps up the top 6, and that is Leicester City. Today, I was heartbroken to see them lose to Spurs. They're up 2-0, 2 penalties from Jamie Vardy, and they just collapsed. It was 2-1, and I don't know what happened. Gareth Bale scored. The third goal should have been overturned. It was a handball by Harry Kane. Don't know what the refs was thinking. This is so inconsistent with these handballs. I want to talk about VAR in a separate video. Since the season's over, I can finally complain about it. But the fact that it comes up and touches his hand and the refs don't call it, but it's been called in other games, it's a joke, and it kind of robbed Leicester here. But Leicester robbed themselves with Kasper Schmeichel really putting in an own goal and ruining Leicester's top 4 hopes, sadly. The results are falling their way. Liverpool won 2-0, but then Chelsea lost 2-1 to Aston Villa. Aston Villa did everything they could to keep Leicester in top 4 contention, and I couldn't believe Leicester didn't drag themselves into top 4 and finish it off strong, but they didn't, sadly. But this is unfortunately 2 losses in the final day for Leicester, back-to-back years to knock them out of the Champions League. You could say they've bottled it, but it's still been a fantastic year for Leicester City. I'm heartbroken for them personally. I love Leicester. I love the King Power, their owner, their fans, their team. Fantastic. And if I was going to tell anyone to start watching football, it would either be Leeds or Leicester you got to support. They're both fantastic clubs, and they both give everything they got to the fans and everything on the field. But Leicester, they've had a fantastic year. They've already picked up Boubakary Soumaré. They're trying to lock down Fofana. They're trying to lock down Yuri Tielemans. I think next year they're going to go out and win the Europa League. Depending on what clubs fall down from the Champions League, you're going to see Brendan Rodgers put his all into the Europa League. He's gone out and won the first ever FA Cup in Leicester history. That is an automatic win for him and his career. He's finally got a trophy. He's finally got his hands on some silverware. That isn't the Scottish Premiership, which doesn't really count at times. And then you got him finally winning the FA Cup, and the first ever FA Cup in Leicester's history, which is massive, and I'm glad for him because he deserves some respect on his name, because a lot of people call him Bottle Job, they call him just any kind of name, because he was known to not cut it and to lose at the end of the season, and he finally has rode it out. Yes, he's not made the top 4, but he still won a huge trophy for Leicester City, and their fans are so delighted. I'm happy for them too, and hopefully they can win the Europa League. I feel like he's going to put his all into it, and he's going to throw everything he can. This year was a fluke, obviously losing to Slavia Prague, and I don't think he's going to let that happen next year. I think he's going to have a better squad. He's going to have more depth. I think depth and COVID really screwed them this year, and injuries really did too. Everyone won't talk about how many injuries they had, but they've had so many injuries from Fofana to Evans to James Justin to Jamie Vardy to James Maddison to Harvey Barnes. The injuries are just racked up, and it was to some of their key players. It might have been a week, it might have been a month, it might have been 6 months, but it's still an injury. You're still missing a couple games, and that hurts you in the end of the season, and it has for them, unfortunately. But they still get Europa League football. It's still European football. I'm sure their fans are happy. They won an FA Cup, and they've got 5th place. Kudos to Leicester. Brendan Rodgers has done a fantastic job, and same with David Moyes and the West Ham in London. Kudos to Leicester City. Kudos to West Ham on winning Europa League spots. I'll see you guys for another video, and I hope you guys like my talk on the Europa League spots in the Premier League. Peace out, guys. See you for the next one.